Hey, my friends, it's Miss Melanie from Classroom A. Today I am here to read a story, and that name of the story is called Caps for Sale. The author and illustrator, as his name is Asfir Slobkini, and the author writes the words, and the illustrator makes the pictures. And we had one person that did all of the story. So let's get started and see what this story is about. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First, he had on his own checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. Look at all those caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight, so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50-cent caps." One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street, calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said, and he walked out of town slowly, slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," he thought. He sat down very slowly under the tree and he leaned back a little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hand to feel. If they were straight, first his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps, and on the very top, they were all there. So he went to sleep. He slept for a very long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and restored. What do you notice about the peddler? What's different? But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. What happened to all the caps he had on his head? I wonder. He looked to the right of him. No caps. He looked to the left of him. No caps. He looked in back of him. No caps. He looked behind the tree. No caps. Then he looked up into the tree. And what do you think he saw? What do you think's in that tree? Maybe. What is that? Are they monkeys? And what do they got on their head? All the peddler's caps. On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. That is an awful lot of monkeys. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking his finger at them, "you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." I don't know. Think they're gonna get them caps back to the peddler? This made the peddler angry. So he shook both his hands at them and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook both their hands back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Now, he felt quite angry. He stomped his foot and said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." See him stomping his feet, and the monkeys are doing the same thing in the tree. By the time the peddler was really, really very angry, he stomped both his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stomped both of their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss, tss." Oh, the peddler's getting very angry. At last he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap, threw it on the ground, and began to walk away. Uh-oh. It doesn't look like he's going to get his caps back. But then each monkey pulled off his cap. And all of the gray caps, and all of the brown caps, and all of the blue caps, and all of the red caps came flying down out of the tree. There they go. They're throwing them down. So the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray cap, then the brown cap, then the blue caps, and then the red caps on the very, very top. See how he's sorting them out by the colors? Putting them in the piles. And slowly, slowly he walked back to town calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." The end. That was a pretty neat story. And what I would like to talk to you about this story is some new vocabulary words that you guys may have not have heard of. The first word that I want to go over is a peddler. A peddler is someone who sells things. And that's what he is. He's a peddler. He also talks about not disturbing his caps on his head when he sat down under the tree to take his nap. To do not disturb, what do you think that means? Not to disturb something. Very good. To be careful not to mess it up, not to make them fall. Very good. Not to upset them. Now the peddler, when the monkeys weren't giving him back his caps, got irritated. What does it mean to get irritated? It means to get angry, to get frustrated, and that's what he was. He was irritated with the monkeys because they wouldn't what? You're right, they wouldn't give him back his caps. Very good. Now, another one is stamped. What does it mean when he stamped his feet? Yes, he stomped up and down. Very good. Like marching feet, but they're stomping. Very good. Like when you get angry, sometimes you might get angry. Like Llama Llama in our Llama Llama story when shopping with Mama, when Llama had the temper tantrum, he stamped his feet. Yes, just like the peddler stamped his feet in the story. Very good, my friends. I hope you enjoyed our story. We went over some new words that you may have not have known what they meant. And we will be reading this story again during one of our story times. But I just wanted to make a video so you can see the story one time before we read it during our class time. I hope you enjoyed the Caps for Sale story. And we will talk more about it tomorrow. Thank you and have a good day.